So another thing about Postgres that I really only sort of fully understood recently was about the case of column names and also table names as well. So here I'm creating a translation from a data set I got in FFS, and it's going to Postgres. And if I zoom in a little bit to make it easier for you to see, the column names in the source are in a sort of title case or CamelCase, you might say, and in the writer they are not. So why would that be? Well, it's because Postgres by default uses lowercase column names. Now, does that mean I have to stick with that? Well, no, it doesn't. FME writer has got a parameter that says lowercase attribute names, and I'm going to say no, I don't want lowercase attribute names. And so now what I should find is that they are preserved in my original CamelCase. So there's that setting you've got to be aware of. And that applies to the feature writer as well. If you look in the feature writer and you write to Postgres, you will see that same parameter in here, and you have to turn it off again in there. And of course you can save that as a preset, so it's not a problem in the future. But the other thing that affects is SQL, and this is very interesting because I've often looked at SQL before and said, well, why have we got all of these like quotes around some of the names? Like if I just do select count from that table, won't that work? And if I run that here, we'll find out that no, that doesn't work. And it doesn't work because by default SQL is expecting a lowercase name, and mine was CamelCase. Even though I gave it the title case name in here, it's still not recognizing that. And the way to get around that is to put quotes around things. So if I find that table and double click it, you'll see FME puts quotes around it by default. And quotes mean basically use this name as it is in the SQL command. Don't try and make it lowercase, or don't assume that it's lowercase. And now things work because we've got a quotes around it. So that was something that confused me a long time. And if you were confused too, like why do we always have quotes around the names of the fields and the tables and everything, well, that's the reason why. Again, that applies to the field names as well. So if I click in here, we can say, yeah, put quotes around it. So that's just something to be aware of. And again, it explains why quotes are inserted into your SQL so often. And I didn't realize that was the reason why. I just sort of did it because I thought that's what you did. But now I know better.